Ladies and gentlemen, what's going on? Once again, Nev from Nev's Tech Bits. Today I want to talk about the difference between the deep web and the dark web. These things get really romanticized, and a lot of people like to get ideas that it's something more than it is, that it's something bigger than it is. The deep web, the dark web are both things that you hear a lot about in fiction for the most part. Not 100%, but it definitely is something you have to be careful about. Now, the deep web is simply parts of the internet that an average web crawling bot can't normally get to. If you need a password to get to these places, it's the deep web. It can literally be a conversation, a Facebook conversation that only you and your friends can see. That is the deep web. The dark web is something that you need a particular program to use. Usually you use programs so that it can't easily be stumbled upon, or so that it can't be easily traced by individuals, private or government. So those are the two big main differences. Now let's get into what's on these places. About 50% of the dark web is just people who want privacy. About 2% of it is people selling pictures of underage, you know what I'm talking about. It's not as big as you would think. So there definitely is that potential for evil, let's say. There definitely are places like the Silk Road where you can put hits out on people, but 99% of the time that just never happens. You're more likely to be able to buy drugs than be able to do this kind of thing, this, that, or the other thing. But seriously, for the most part, it's just people who demand privacy. And it's not an unreasonable thing to want privacy. Unfortunately, even the deep web or the dark web probably isn't going to get you that privacy, because the government has, at least in the United States, I'm not sure about all Project Five Eyes countries, but the government in the United States saves encrypted data. So let's say this is your computer, this is your friend's computer. You're talking about stuff and you just want privacy. Your information doesn't go directly one to the other. What happens is over the ISP, it goes to one ISP, then another ISP, and then there. So that's like two places in between. AT&T, for example, is definitely, I believe I should say, I believe that AT&T is working directly with the government, and anything that they want, they just pull in, and if it's encrypted, they save it for later decrypting. That's the thing about encryption. Maybe today your encryption is perfect and no one's going to get into it, but 10 years from now, your encryption is going to be weak. And supercomputers are going to be able to throw so many keys at it that eventually they're going to be able to unlock it. So you better hope that you don't help or talk to anyone that could be engaged in illegal activities because of this kind of thing. There are a lot of people that like to think that they're superpower hacker man, and then 10 years later, the things that they say get decrypted and they get the police at their door. This happens. And one big thing about hackers is that they're all big and powerful and they're behind a keyboard. But if you knock on their door, they will quibble, they will cry, and they won't be big hacker man anymore. But yeah, that's the major difference between the deep web and the dark web. If you have no reason to be there, don't look for it. Because if you look for it, you're probably going to find some of the either boring or the parts that you don't even want to be involved in the first place. But I will tell you, it's not as exciting or as romantic as the media, as certain subreddits might make you think. So in the end, it's just better to stay away from these places. No reason to get into it. Eventually one day you might find yourself there. Most of us will never find ourselves in the places that we don't want to be. So don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's not as romantic as people make it out to be. There's a difference between the deep web and the dark web. The deep web is just stuff you need a password to get to. The dark web is something you need a special program to get to. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And this is it for me. From Nev's Tech Bits. Take care of each other. Bye.